everyone, welcome to LexTalk World Talk Show presented by ClickAway Creators. Today we have Michael Marlowe with us. Michael Marlowe is a Filipino lawyer who specializes in dispute resolution, corporate law, and media and technology law as well. He's currently a senior associate of SKYLaw offices, a member firm of Elite Global Legal Alliance. Before joining SKYLaw offices, he previously worked as in-house counsel for one of the largest banks in Philippines. He has extensive experience in representing individual and corporate clients before various courts, arbitral tribunals, and quasi-judicial agencies. He has also advised multinational corporations on matters relating to doing business in Philippines itself. He is the current Deputy Secretary General for Operations of the Philippine International Center for Conflict Resolution, and also is a qualified Tribunal Secretary of the Hong Kong International Arbitration Center. Without any further ado, let me introduce you to the man himself. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Good afternoon, Barty. Thank you for the introduction.
It is a pleasure having you with us, Michael. So without wasting any time, please tell us about your journey as a legal professional, and we're really excited to know about it.
Okay. Prior to taking up law, I finished my Bachelor of Arts in Humanities and my Master of Arts in Humanities with specialization in history from the University of Asia and the Pacific. I then obtained my Juris Doctor from the University of the Philippines College of Law. I took and passed the Philippine Bar examinations, which, by the way, is a battery of exams for 4 consecutive Sundays. I became an associate of one of the big law firms in the Philippines, where I was exposed to a lot of commercial litigation and arbitration work. After getting the necessary experience for litigation and arbitration, I decided to join the in-house legal team of one of the largest banks in the Philippines, where I provided advisory and represented the bank as well in different tribunals. And then after that experience working as in-house legal counsel for a bank, I decided to return to the law firm way of life. So currently I'm a senior associate of SKYLaw. We're a full-service firm based in the Philippines. I handle most of the firm's litigation and arbitration cases. Our cases vary from trademark infringement, breach of construction contracts, land disputes, and even prosecution of white-collar crime. Aside from handling litigation and arbitration, I also provide advisory to our clients with respect to data privacy compliance, as well as mergers and acquisitions. So aside from doing law firm work, I'm currently the Deputy Secretary General for Operations of the Philippine International Center for Conflict Resolution, or the PICCR. The PICCR is an arbitral institution in the Philippines, and it administers commercial arbitration and other ABR services here in our country. So far, that's my journey as a lawyer based in the Philippines.
Thank you very much, Michael, for answering that question. So before we start talking about your specialization, considering your experience, I'm sure you must be having a lot of memorable cases and transactions, right,
Yes.
which are very
Yes.
close to your heart. So please throw light on that.
Okay. One of my most memorable cases was a cybercrime case. I was part of the team. We were a team of private prosecutors who handled the case. And this was filed just a year after the implementing rules of the Cybercrime Prevention Act was issued here in the Philippines. So at that time, it was a very novel case, because the other cybercrime cases that were filed around that time were mostly cyber libel cases or imputation of defamatory remarks. And in the case here in the Philippines, those defamatory remarks were made through social media. But this memorable case, which I'm going to share to you guys, is about an illegal access of a computer system, and it also involved illegal interception of electronic data. So it was quite different. The implementing rules was just issued, so it was really, as I mentioned a while ago, it was very novel. Also, there were certain details. Now, there were certain details about this case which, due to confidentiality reasons, I can't disclose. But the case was filed in one of the island provinces in the Philippines. So just to attend court hearings and the trial, I had to book a flight, get on board a plane, and travel all the way to that island province. So in order for me to really prosecute that case, I had to study the technical aspects of computers, computer networks, computer systems. Otherwise, I would be lost in the maze of ones and zeros. And I also had to coordinate with the government's anti-cybercrime units, since at that time, they were the only ones who were capable of conducting computer forensic examination. So aside from coordinating with the government's anti-cybercrime unit, I had also to ensure that the complaint which we filed would be easily understood by the trial court judge, since it was very tech-oriented. No? I didn't want the complaint to be drowned in a lot of computer and internet terminologies. So I had to ensure that it would be easily understood by the trial court judge. So that's one of the most memorable cases which I handled, very tech-heavy. At the same time, the proceedings were in an island province here in the Philippines.
Well, that was quite an interesting transaction that you had to take up. So let's talk about your specialization in a bit of detail.
Okay.
So when I talk about specialization, there are a lot of things that you already specialize in. But as like right now, there are a lot of things going on when it comes to data privacy laws, right?
Okay. Yes.
I mean, everybody has a different take on data privacy law, but we would really love to know how do you look at it for this particular year, and how do you think it can change 5 years down the line, considering 2020 has been a crazy year, so we cannot
Yes.
predict anything,
Yes.
but just your opinion.
So with respect to data privacy law in 2021, this year, it's indispensable to our lives, since it provides the framework wherein our rights as data subjects are protected, since most of our activities now are done online. Banking is done online, even education is done online, medical consultations are done online. So with all of our activities, most of our activities are done online, there is also that increase in the processing of our personal data by the processors. So in order to ensure that the people's personal data are protected and and the necessary safeguards are implemented, the data privacy law should really be adhered to, not just by the private citizens, but also by other stakeholders. So right now, data privacy law is indispensable. Down the line of 5 years from now, more and more people will know about the data privacy law, and with more people knowing about the data privacy law, they will also know more about their rights under the data privacy law. So the right to access their information, the right to modify or edit their information, and the right to delete their information. So 5 years from now, or maybe even next year or 2 years from now, more and more data subjects will file requests to access their information, edit their information, delete their information. So the data subjects who used to be passive, will become active with respect to their rights under the data privacy law. Okay, second, since more data subjects from my view, will become more knowledgeable about the data privacy law, the data subjects, will also become aware of the violations of their rights under the data privacy law. So years from just maybe next year or 2 years from now, or maybe 5 years from now, more and more cases will be filed in relation to the data privacy law. Cases filed by data subjects in the event that their rights are violated, cases filed by the government regulators, in case of non-compliance by the data processors. So those are things which I think will happen in the foreseeable future. And I also believe that government regulators will become stricter with respect to the implementation of the data privacy law. And I foresee that government regulators will be more active in the prosecution of violations in relation to the data privacy law.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, for answering that question. Now, talking about your specialization, I would really like to dive deeper into it and ask you this question: that do you think that arbitration will become more widespread as a dispute resolution mechanism, let's say in Philippines, your home country, or if you do not want to talk about specifically Philippines, then in Asia in the years to come?
Okay. With regard to arbitration, I do think that it will become more mainstream, not just in the Philippines, but in Asia in general. I've noticed that a lot of commercial agreements already have arbitration clauses. These commercial agreements may be between domestic entities in the Philippines or entities here in the Philippines, while the counterparties outside the Philippines. I've seen a lot of contracts which now reflect no arbitration clauses. So I do think that it will become more mainstream. But from my view, for arbitration to really soar, as a dispute resolution mechanism, private citizens, small and medium enterprises should be able to know the advantages and benefits of arbitration. So if arbitral institutions in the Philippines and abroad will be able to tap into that, what do you call this? Tap into private individuals, small and medium enterprises, and educate them, inform them about the benefits and advantages of arbitration, then I do believe that arbitration will become mainstream as a dispute resolution mechanism in the Philippines and in Asia.
Thank you very much, Michael. Now, we've talked about you, your journey, your contributions, your specialization as well. Let's talk more about the law firm, right?
Okay.
And more about yours. And having said that, having asked you that, how should law firms adapt to the changes brought by the COVID-19 pandemic? I mean,
Okay. Mm.
every geography is hit differently, by the pandemic, but the reality is that every industry has, gone for a toss, and every organization and every country has gone for a toss. So, as per you, if you would like to talk about first Philippines
Okay.
and then in general, like however you want to answer that question.
Okay. In order for law firms to adapt to the changes brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, law firms must identify the essentials and cut away or remove the fat. No? So when I say essentials, how to communicate with clients, how to have firm meetings, no? How to assemble the team, how to coordinate the strategies with respect to a particular case. The law firm must be able to determine the essentials. All that are not needed should be removed. And in order to do that, the law firm must also take advantage of technology. Technology will help the law firm move forward, uh, particularly that the pandemic caused a lot of changes in how we do things. So aside from determining the essentials, using technology, law firms must also be able to make themselves available or accessible to clients and prospective clients, even if the members of a law firm are working remotely. And that goes back to the two things I've mentioned a while ago, the essentials and technology.
Thank you so much for answering that question. I mean, it is a very enlightening conversation because we've talked about data privacy law. Your journey has been amazing, and we've talked about arbitration, and so it was really insightful. We're sadly coming to an end of this
Okay.
conversation, but before I let you go, I would really like to ask you, uh, uh, as a lawyer, what do you think should be the three key attributes of a 21st century lawyer?
Okay, so a 21st century lawyer must be adaptable. Changes are happening very fast. So the lawyer must be in a process of continuous study in order to advance not just his knowledge of the law, but also his knowledge of the specific industries, field, and sectors in which the law is applied. So in order for the lawyer to really optimize, his practice in the 21st century, he must be adaptable. Second, the 21st century lawyer must be technology literate. When I say technology literate, the lawyer must be able to navigate the digital environment. And that includes being able to use digital devices and interfaces, which would be necessary in identifying problems, how to solve those problems, and of course, how to communicate not just with the clients and the members of the firm, but how to communicate with the necessary stakeholders. And lastly, the 21st century lawyer must be human. When I say human, these are the necessary qualities or indispensable qualities that differentiate us from the computer. Professor Kenneth Grady from the University of Michigan mentioned that us humans are wired to other humans. So we must be able to leverage our being human when we do our work as lawyers. Now, for litigators, now for litigators and arbitrators, you are presenting your case to a judge or to an arbitration panel. The judge and the arbitration panel are human. So when you present your case, either to advance the interests of your client or to protect your client, you must be able to leverage your being human. So those three qualities, I believe, are essential for the 21st century lawyer. He must be adaptable, technology literate, and lastly, and most importantly, he is human.
Wow, Michael, I don't think that anyone else would have been able to answer this question in a in a better way. And yeah, one should be human. Wow, that's just amazing. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing such great insights with us. We really look forward to having a chat with you again in the future on some other training topics in the international legal industry. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Michael, please like and share this video and also subscribe to ClickAway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do and you have more coming from industry leaders. This is Bharti for LexTalk signing off. Take care. Bye bye.